Jim Harbaugh, he's gone.
He gone.
My question to you, Easy.
Yeah.
Does he have a pair of purple khakis?
It's looking like it. I mean, reports. It's kind of it's weird though because like Sunday you saw reports he's gonna sign with the Dolphins, and before that there was reports he was gonna sign with the Raiders. So I almost I just don't know what to believe at this point. But at this point, when it's coming this deep into it, I think today is a National Signing Day in college football, and the fact that he's taking an in-person interview in Minnesota with the Vikings kind of makes it to where I don't know if he can come back to the University of Michigan and coach. How are you going to sit there in front of a kid's parents or even the kids themselves at the team and say, "Hey, I'm here for you guys," when on National Signing Day, you're over interviewing for an NFL job. The fact they're even publicly, I mean, it's not up to him that's public, right? The reporters report that stuff, and that's how it gets out there. But the fact that he's entertaining it, just I think shows he's not all the way in with Michigan football. And if he is, it's going to be hard to convince those guys of that. I think he may become a Minnesota Viking. And as much as it cringes me to say, that skull chant in the beginning, that's kind of lit. It's kind of hype. I can't lie.
No, it leads to some other things. But here's the thing, right? Usually you get your commitments and the commitment day earlier, so this signing day and stuff like this. But we were talking about this yesterday. The transparency he has had with the university, with the board manual, talking about wanting to check out some interest and way it's been out there. The transparency's been there. It hasn't been the behind the scenes. It's not like in college the Brian Kelly or it comes down to coaches leaving. I think they want to know. That's why I put up on the Twitter poll. I think people just want him to make a decision.
Yeah.
Right. Which to me is I think he's a better NFL coach than he is a college coach anyways. As if you're watching on the YouTube, Sawyer's throwing around some beautiful memes because people are great with some memes. That one looks like a Star Wars one.
I can't read the text on the top one there. What does it say, Sawyer?
It's like the classic Anakin Skywalker Padme one, and it's Harbaugh saying, "You will have a good season this year at Michigan," and then Padme's like, "We will both have a good season at Michigan, right?" Then he's just smirking, and then she says, "We'll both have a good season at Michigan, right?"
What do you think of this, of the move or the fact that the him and Han, that's why it's sort of what I said yesterday is. He realizes, I believe, that Michigan, because I think if he was smart, he would have went and said, we need to compete more in the NIL, more compete in the transfer portal. That's how we're going to get better if we're going to be one of these top 4 teams. And you just don't see that commitment, right, by Michigan. So I understand the frustration where he realizes the whole thing is he's got to take that what do they call it? The thing in the bottle, whatever, like that. You say whatever that small window that he has, right? Small window, because if he goes out and he loses Ohio State next year, or doesn't beat Michigan State, or doesn't have, because you look at the team and whatever else, then he's back to negotiating because they don't want. If they wanted him, they would have paid him already. I don't think Michigan won. I think this is one of the things that it's the best of both worlds.
That's a good point. I think that's a good point because, if they wanted to keep him, they would have brought that contract to him anyway.
Think about it back when Tucker signed, and then Kelly goes, and then guys are moving here and there, and there's $10 million here. Lincoln Riley's going to USC. Got to change this.
Jets.
That's usually when it happens, right? Yeah. Now is the fact that it hasn't, so it makes me wonder. Right, it makes me wonder. It'll be interesting. If that's the case, who's next in store, though? Because you gotta be prepared to replace him. Well, I guess the front runner, who everybody says, is Mike Hart.
Yeah.
But you don't even let Mike Hart do interviews, because of the little brother comment.
Yeah.
He doesn't. The coach he does is one of the coaches that doesn't do interviews because of that. So you can't hide from that when you're a head coach. So I think that because there's no direction. Right, because you don't know where you're going. Mm-hmm. Usually it's like, okay, this guy's going to come in. You're going to know he's moving on and stuff like this.
Yeah.
My question more is, do you, as a Lions fan or as viewing the NFC North, are you fearful about Harbaugh in Minnesota?
No.
With that team or whatever? Or is it just because Minnesota's the perennial 8-9, 9-8, 10-8 team?
Yeah, so I actually
until I get rid of Kirk Cousins.
I got a bit of a hot take with this one.
Woohoo!
Yes, sir.
Hot take by Easy.
Fresh off the press. You know what I'm saying? But no, but honestly, like you look at Jim Harbaugh's record at Michigan, 61-24. Overall, looks like fantastic. Looks great. However, in the 7 years there's been tons of shortcomings. And there was even one point before the amazing season he had last year where we thought he wasn't even a coach last year. I mean, his record against top 10 teams, 3-14. Now, I could be wrong because you do see guys graduate from the college level to the NFL and stuff like that. But D-Mac, I mean, is a college coach as good as an NFL coach? You know what I'm saying? Like, when you say an NFL coach is better, aren't they the cream of the crop? Or
different systems. Mm-hmm. Different dealing with men. Are you better dealing with men or dealing with, young men?
Yeah.
Right? Are you better at molding and advising and sort of teaching them to get to the next level? Or do you need somebody that sculpts them to the next level and then you bring them in and finish them off, right? I just think that, it's a great point in the YouTube chats about, the job that he did at Stanford and then went to San Francisco. Mm-hmm. And what I saw, because I agree, is the job he did at Stanford, he coached it like a college coach, committed with and he had Andrew Luck and different things like that, right? And then he went to San Fran and he had success at San Fran and whatever like this. And I think he tried to do too much San Fran stuff. And a lot of times it has to do with the talent and everything you have, right? So a lot of it doesn't. It's a different coach, Easy. Yeah, it's a different coach. It'd be like me saying in golf, right? Not the best golfer, right? But there's certain conditions. Some of the best golfers can't play with heavy wind conditions, or they don't like it when it gets colder, right? If everything's apropos, or then you get into the grass, right? Not all the grass is the same, right? Not all the stuff. So there's more to it. And I think coaching to the nth degree is like that. And I think a lot of it has, the biggest thing, if I'm going to take this back to Detroit, right, is you have to develop that culture first. Right, that's what Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, the culture to come into, right? So too many times, and that's what was lost in Michigan for so long, right? Jim Harbaugh came in with the who's better in that culture, and came in with that cocky,
it just
NFL or professional athlete attitude instead of more of a college relate. And how can you not, as your kids, if your coach acts that way, you're going to replicate how you coach. I
just don't like the hype with it behind it. For me, is like, I'm, as a Lions fan, I'm not concerned at all with Jim Harbaugh being the head coach of the Vikings. Like, and like you said, it's what you got to work with that kind of helps you and contributes to your success. We look back at his years in San Fran, tremendous record. I think it's like 44-12 in the regular season, but the offense. Colin Kaepernick, say what you want about the stuff that happened after all the kneeling stuff like that. He was a damn good quarterback, one of the highest paid at some point. He was tremendous talented. You had Frank Gore, Anquan Bolden, Michael Crabtree, Vernon Davis, Joel Staley's going to go down as a Hall of Fame tackle, Mike Awapati. It's a hard one to say. It's one of those Polynesian names, tough one to go. But let's hop over to the defensive side of the ball. We have Navarro Bowman, Patrick Willis, freaking Alden Smith, who was a beast back then.
So to my point, he had men to coach.
Exactly.
Right? And here's the one thing that I saw you learn as the culture changed a little bit more this year coming out of Michigan with Harbaugh, as far as it was quieter. You didn't hear the rumblings and stuff that but what else did he? He realized he had to lean on other people. Mike McDonald was
huge this year. Yeah.
Didn't he just get hired?
Yep.
Just got an NFL job, whatever. So my thing isn't the Jim Harbaugh. I know what I'm getting with Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah.
Right? But who does he bring in? What's his coaching staff? Who is it? Does he have influence?
And it took us some time to do that in Michigan as well. And look at Michigan too. Like, they're a blue chip program. They're one of the schools like you want to go to if you're a head coach, because you know that there's going to be money. There's going to be amazing support. There's kids going to want to go there because they're a national brand type of team. Like, and then you look at the head coaching hirings. And I'm just talking as a Lions fan perspective. I'm not nervous about him. Everything's going young. He's the oldest. If he becomes a Vikings head coach, he'll be the oldest hire they made this year throughout the NFL. Even look at the Super Bowl this year. Zach Taylor, Sean McVay. I think Zach Taylor's 38, Sean McVay 36. Like, the league is just changing to
here's the thing. It's like you want to relate to the Mo Sider and the Lucas Raymond at 19, 20, 21 years old. The young, everybody's evolved. The Sean McVays, the Zach Taylor, they put their time in. They've been around the game No, what I'm saying, don't use age. People use the number of age because he's this old or because he's this old. What I'm saying is that what you've what I've seen, and I believe, is Jim Harbaugh's a better coach of men when he's put the right team around him. So, but he's also realized as he's gotten older, and trust me, Easy, as you get older, you get a little bit wiser and realize you don't have to do it yourself, but you can't do it yourself. So it's who do you surround, and it's the team you put together. Now, to mention how it ties back to San Fran of why it might work, right? It's because the GM was in the San Francisco organization when Harbaugh was there. So there's some why continuity. We don't know what that relationship is, but that's the sort of, if they hire, or the hire is Harbaugh in Minnesota, that's the Harbaugh that the GM wants back. You said. So it's always interesting, no matter what. So have we seen if the lines have changed at all with, you know what I'd be interested to see tomorrow is Super Bowl odds, and if what they are with the new teams with new coaches, to see if they go down, or anything like that, because you mentioned that, right? But I think it's the experience. I think it's what you've learned, and I think that he's ready. Just like this year in college, he kept it quiet and he was successful.
Well, some of the stuff is still the same though. Like the offense is like that's still that north-south aggressive offense. Everything the NFL is trending is like these young coaches who are like improvising their offenses to do like just innovative things. Like it's just more explosive nowadays, and like
right. So
I just don't see
here's
that
the
Jim
whole
Caldwell.
thing. Jim Harbaugh's the coach, but who's his guru, offensive defensive coordinator that's bringing this stuff?
Yeah.
Look at how it operates around here, right? Every team, no matter what, if you're talking about sports or whatever else, there's a flow, there's a vibe. Everybody has to play their role for them to be successful.